Yo, listen, I'm coming on here with a very, very quick message because it really just irks me sometimes the way that the spiritual community loves to loves to kind of fantasize about what spirituality is. Okay, so what we need to do, first of all, the reason why this irks me is because spirituality spirituality as we know it today through the media seems like a fantasy, right? In the past, the people who were deemed spiritual were given the narrative of hippies or people who were on drugs, or conspiracy theorists, right? Those are the people who were spiritual. Those are the people who were truly spiritual. Nowadays, we perceive spirituality as a lifestyle or some sort of fantasy. And the reason why I say fantasy is because we need to stop imagining. We need to stop imagining that spirituality is are characters or depictions, right? A lot of people, they in the spiritual community, they will use the word consciousness alongside words and physical depictions of like evil or entities, or you'll even find videos of people talking about how you should stay away from low vibrational people because they are going to siphon and steal your energy, and you got to protect your energy. They're missing the point, okay? All of those narratives are still built behind and backed behind the idea of fear. This doesn't release anybody. The point of the original point of spirituality was to free the mind of fear, of limitation, of trap doors, to spot the pattern so that you may end the loop, close the loop, right? Nowadays, spirituality actually ascends and maybe transcends people to a certain extent, but then they fall right back down to the spot they were once in. And maybe it's not on the same exact playing field or level, which is great. But what we don't want is more fear-inducing narratives being spread, because that just literally eliminates the entire point of it. Now, I'm not saying this as to put rules or set boundaries or telling anybody how they should think or believe, but I will say this. Consciousness is science. It is fact-based. It is proven. Consciousness, as we know, is not some spiritual thing. It is also not like a god power. You can believe it is, but it is not a person. It is literally, it is what it is. Spirituality is very, very, very hung up on the ideas and imagination, right? A lot of people use their imaginations when they come through with spiritual messages, spiritual insights. They love to use and tie in consciousness awareness of what is, simply what is, and its basic, most foundational parameters. And they love to entangle and mix in a little bit of human forms or human ideas and ethics and morals, and they like to talk and speak as if these are actual people, or if these are actual just things that can make sense in our human brains. Okay, the first thing we have to realize is that the mind wants to do that. The brain is trained, is designed to try to make sense of things, okay, to try and find and create images and pictures. It wants, because the brain is literally a pattern recognition system. It's literally a computer, right? It's like it's a CPU, so it wants input it needs information. It needs to be fed information so that things that happen make sense. But here's the thing, right? Consciousness is not human. It's not a human thing. It is what it is. The reason why you can't see it is because it is what it is. It's not meant to be seen. It's not meant to be humanized. It's not meant to be formed. It's formless. It's essence. It's air. We breathe and we can't even see the air that we breathe because it's not meant to be seen. It's meant to just be. You don't question the air that you really breathe in every single day. I mean, unless the air is polluted, I suppose. But normally we just breathe, right? And we just sense. That's just what we do. And consciousness is the exact same thing. So we need to kind of remove the idealization, the imagination, right? The mind is doing what it does best, which is to imagine, but the brain is also kind of a pillar, kind of a wall, because it wants to figure it out. It wants to know. It can't be okay with not knowing or the unknown or the dark, right? A lot of people try to escape their shadow. They try and run from the dark, okay? Now, let me tell you something about this. Consciousness and awareness, which is everything that exists that we cannot see, is science, okay? I'm not going to drop the facts. I'm not going to drop any of the websites. You can look this stuff up, okay? It's literal science. Now, the reason why it's so important that we actually understand it for what it is, instead of for all these other imaginative things and labels like witches and warlocks and spirits and you know, all types of different things, like, is because it most of the time that is just the mind doing what it wants to do, right? The world is backed by belief, right? Belief is a system. Money is backed by belief. Technology works, money works because we as people believe in it. Spirituality and industries work because we believe in it. So the world is built on belief in dreams. The mind, belief is literally just an ability that the mind can do, which is imagine and come up with things. Okay? That's what the mind can do. That's what the mind does. But the brain wants to make sense of things. It wants to compute things. It wants logic. Okay? But when the two worlds collide, they actually don't necessarily combine in the ways that we think it would. Right? And this is very important because when it comes to the imagination can run very, very wild, very, very fast. It can literally think of anything. It can make up anything in its head. And if the mind, coupled with the mind, or with the brain, which will give you the belief, the part one to the belief, if it makes sense in the brain, what you are imagining makes sense in your brain, meaning your brain is agreeing with the images or depictions of whatever it is that your mind comes up with. The third part to it would be the emotion, how you feel. And so if it is a fear-based form in your head with an agreement in the brain, the brain agrees with whatever the mind believes or is envisioning, imagining, then what solidifies it, step 3, is the emotion. So now you have a whole system, right? You have one imagination plus 1 brain equals 2, right? And that will give you this emotion part is going to actually bring it forth, the reality. So now do you understand the formula of how you reel in your reality? Now, if it still doesn't make sense how fantasy, right? How fantasy or imagination being combined with the brain trying to make sense of something, a human thing, trying to make a human idea out of an infinite intelligent mind, out of consciousness, backed by a feeling, that just creates a whole bunch of chaos. Because again, consciousness is what it is. The brain isn't meant to compute your visions. It's not meant to really think about it. It's really there for one of two reasons: for alignment and evolution. Okay? Let me tell you something. With consciousness, all consciousness seeks to do through you, right? Through you, right? You are consciousness, right? But through you, how it works through you is for you to evolve. But you first need to align. But here's the thing: whether you are operating through unalignment or misalignment, or conscious or aware or intentional alignment, meaning you know what you move with intention, basically. So whether you are moving with intention or you are misaligned or misguided in some way, evolution is going to happen. If you think about everything in the world, like for example, the climate, what we thought climate change was, science was all, worried about climate change and the world's heating up, but they were fearful of it. Here's what it is: evolution has no concern with human comfort or morals or ethics. It does not care. It does not serve what you want. It serves as you need. And you cannot escape what it is that you need. It's like trying to keep down an already stirring whirlpool. If you put an object, a flat object, over a spinning, what do they call it? Like a whirlpool with water, and it just spins, and it's creating a suction vacuum. And you try to put a bigger piece. All it's going to do is create a bigger vacuum. It's literally going to suck and sink the entire piece down. What's that called? It's called the system's breaking. It's called, oh, the stock market is crashing. Oh, it's called climate is changing. Oh, it's called I feel a shift. Or it's called, oh my gosh, I've seen that person change. Or you've changed. That's all it is. It's evolution. Or it's also called, I don't want to change. I'm afraid of my success, or I'm afraid of going out to do what it is I need to do, or I'm afraid of this. That's evolution. So you cannot escape evolution. A lot of people want to escape. What a lot of people are running from. It's just their evolution. It's their own growth. They're fearful of it because they can't. They don't know what it's coming from. They don't know where it's coming from. Because what they really value is what they want. But what evolution seeks is to give you and provide you what you need to grow. And that could look like painful in the actual 3D realm to our human, right? And that's why we start thinking, why did this happen to us? Or how could this da 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 da? Because it's needed for our own growth. Whether you ask for it or not, and you probably did in some ways. You probably did. You probably didn't like the fact that this person was treating you bad. You probably didn't like the fact that your boss doesn't respect you. And that is sending signals to your conscious mind, to consciousness, to provide you eventually with what it is that you need. Unexpectedly, and even subconsciously, that's just how it works day to day. Now imagine how consciousness works when you actually use it with intention. But this is science. This is not imagination. See, when we use when what it looks like and what it's called when we use imagination is I'm being gang stalked. Spirits are spirits. I have to protect all my energy. Oh, people are going to siphon my energy. Oh, I'm afraid of talking to these low vibrational people. Oh, yeah. You still don't get it because if you you gotta realize consciousness, vibrations, they're all the spectrum. It's everything. It's not just the light. It's not just fairies and dust and love and peace. It's also dark, very much dark, very much. It is destructive. It is destructive. It is the climate change. It is the breaking up. It is the divorce. It is the losing your job, losing everything. It is the homelessness. Because you have to build yourself. It is the ground up. Literally, this space of from the ground all the way up to the sky. That is a spectrum. So whether you're on the ground, which is considered low frequency or 3D, that's still a part of you. You're human. You live in the third dimension. Now, what they're referring to is free will. People are actively either choosing to live unaligned in their root chakra or in their whatever. People are choosing this, and so then now they're fearing another person's choice, the next man's move. That's nothing for you to worry about, because again, evolution is always happening. And if you find yourself running into people who are low vibrational, there's essence and there's value and there is this consciousness in everybody, in every single light element, whether it is dark or whether it is bright, whether it is third dimensional or whether it's 12D, whether it's low frequency, whether it's high frequency, it is still valuable, it is still a part of you, and it is still part of your essence, and there is still a lot of evolution and growth and treasure within it all. It is not your concern to concern yourself with the frequency that someone else is operating on. If you don't like it, you can use your own free will to depart. You don't have to judge. You do not have to, fear anything. You don't have to become paranoid. That's when you begin to hear stories about spiritual psychosis, because they fall back down into that realm of fear. Now they are actually operating at a frequency that's going to send them a feedback loop of the reality that they want, that they fear, that they don't want. And it's only happening for their growth, for the evolution. The reason why it keeps happening is because it's trying, the frequency is trying to get them to see that it's not what they actually think in the mind. The mind is just running wild. They have to calm down. You have to understand this as science, not fiction, not non-fiction, not fiction. This is reality, and this has always been here. Again, we are here to awaken, to remember, right? Our parents are just previous generations of us. We came out of them. Look it up. Your mother's DNA is literally a part of you. Your father's DNA is a part of you. You came from their essence, from their consciousness, and you reincarnated as a version, as a variant of them. It's science. This is not fancy. It's not. And the quicker you realize this, the much more at peace you'll be with everything, with people, with the world, with events that go on in your life, even how you move, even how you rest. A lot of people don't even allow themselves to rest. because they're so caught up in the human raw and the human ideologies, and they're so caught up in the mind, and they're so just it's chaos. So again, wake up. But don't dream. Don't allow yourself to come to become a victim of your own mind. And also don't even, like, you can't escape. What people were trying to escape is the reality. And the reality is evolution. That's all it is. Everything happens for a reason. Even the most uh, even the most like horrid of horrid things you could think of that go beyond and that go against your human ethic or your empathy or your feelings or whatever you think. It all happens for a reason. We are energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can it reincarnates. So when there's a death, life is actually happening elsewhere. And I know that doesn't sound very nice to our human minds and emotions. But again, consciousness and the reality and the truth is ruthless. It does not abide by the same human morals and policies that we have created. Remember that. Everything has been created for us, by us, at least in the human sense. But everything else is what it is. You know? So, rest well, rest easy, knowing that the world is unfolding and writing itself perfectly, divinely, as it should. The world is all constantly evolving. Remember, doesn't matter how large you try, and doesn't matter how big of a piece of a plank or a wood you try to cover up a whirlhole of your evolution. It doesn't matter how big that piece is, it's going to swallow itself eventually. So you can continue to live however you want, but go to bed resting well, knowing that every dog has its day. Peace.